What is going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe, Nile Scala, here with my good friend, my pal, teen sensation, Mr. Billy Tucci. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm enjoying the trickling, what is it, like tropical storm that's going on right now.
Well, well, I don't know what that means, but like it hit us. So it's freezing out. It's hard. I had to put a sweater on,
Really?
and I had to go get Chinese food today. But you know what? Enough about me. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm pumped for freaking Baltimore. The banners are in, the shirts are in, the promotional propaganda that we'll be passing out is in. It's going to be
Nice.
insane, man. I am pumped.
Yep, we got a panel. Our second. The second panel that you'll
Third.
be on with us as the Crowdfunding Comics team.
Mm-hmm.
You, me, and Frank Amazing, right?
Yes.
We have Friday. If anyone's going to the Baltimore Comic Con, Friday at what 4:00, 4:30?
4:30.
4:30. And who's going to join us? Who's our guest joining us?
We've got Ron Randall. We've got Sora. I think Caleb. Sora Song. I think Caleb Thuset maybe joining us.
Caleb, I believe, is
and
joining
then,
us too.
who else? Who's our fourth?
We have Tom Zoller.
Tom Zoller.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And come on down. We're gonna try to stream it live if we can. If not, it will be recorded and get on TV. So, well, you know what? Without further ado, for our 60th show.
61st, bro.
61st show.
61st show. What?
61st show. It's been a great couple of months. But instead of making our guests wait any longer, one of my favorite people in the industry, someone I met when she's still a mere lark. But someone we met, one of her first conventions, I think I met her at, and without further ado, one of the true stars of cosplay, my wonderful friend, Miss Jennifer Van Damsel. Hello, Jennifer. There she is.
How you doing,
Hi,
Jennifer?
Billy. Hi. I don't know if any of that's true. I think you might be a little bit biased.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, look at that brand new studio that you built.
I know. I actually did with my own hands put the drywall on the wall. So I was actually constructing this myself. Yeah.
And
Nice.
that was done with the help of your Patreon, your Patreon pals. What are they? Patrons? Your Patreon? What are they?
Well, mine personally are the Vandals. We did a vote last month to name our Patreon as like I don't know. I've always been like, want to be like a cool kid, have a cool kids club and have like a name. Everything's got to have a name or a theme. So they're the Vandals now.
Love it.
It's awesome.
Love it. So I think Jennifer, if you don't mind, we'll give a little bit of background on us, you and I.
Yeah.
I think I met you at your first or one of your first comic book conventions. I think it was in San Antonio or in Dallas, and you were the cowgirl Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And
yeah.
you came by my booth, and I'm like, that is adorable. That is one of the, and you were like just a babe in the woods. I mean, you're still young and all, but was that your first foray into cosplay? Like, how did you get into it? If you want to give a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into this, and now you've really taken off like a rocket ship. I mean, what you've done with it's amazing how huge cosplaying has gotten. And they really are comic stars now, convention stars and everything like that.
Oh,
yeah, social media really helped to blow all that up a lot. It was social media was kind of becoming a thing the same time cosplay was kind of becoming a thing, which was the same time comic conventions actually started getting pretty popular, like mainstream, because of all the movies and everything coming out. Yeah. So it was kind of just like the perfect storm of being able to be successful as an independent artist, I guess, just in general.
And what got you into cosplay?
Yeah.
So I was actually in college. I have my accounting degree, and I was working at a comic book store at the time, and a girl came in, and we became friends. And she was just like, hey, you like comics? Do you want to go to Dragon Con with me? Do you know cosplay? And I'm like, I don't know what cosplay is, but Halloween was always like my favorite holiday. I love musicals and theater and everything like that. So what, comics? And costumes? Like, absolutely. And it doesn't have to be Halloween. I can do it like in public, and it's not like weird any time of like the year. Cool. So we plan to go to Comicpalooza, which is the local Houston really big convention. And so, yeah, that was my first convention. My first ever costume I put together was a ballerina version of Zatanna. So I've always really been into like mashups and doing my own thing. So then my second costume I did was actually the Black Queen, Celine, which everybody knows Emma Frost. So it's from the Hellfire Club, basically. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I was just always really into the corsets and tight clothes and going out in public dressed really weird and hanging out with people. And I actually met John Hughes at Comicpalooza for the first time. And so that's important because he ended up getting Overground Comics started as soon as I was graduating from college. And so I graduated, decided that accounting would not be very fun to do for a living. And John said, hey, well, I'm starting this comic book company. You want to be my assistant and help me make comic books? And I was like, yeah, that sounds way better than being an accountant. So I worked for them for 3 years. We got into Diamond. We ran a successful Kickstarter. And whenever I had a 3-year contract, and when my contract was up, I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm going to try to do my own thing now and see where that goes. And so I basically just like quit my job and just said, all right, let's do it, internet. And yeah, all my fans, I opened up Patreon like day one, and people actually joined it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And it kind of just like went off from there. And it's almost 4 years later. December is my 4-year Patreon anniversary. And it's been like really crazy.
That's awesome. For like the viewers out there that aren't sure like what Patreon is, can you explain a little bit about Patreon and like how that works?
Yeah, so I guess you guys are probably be familiar with Kickstarter. So it's kind of similar to Kickstarter, but instead of you funding one big project, you subscribe to a certain tier, just like Kickstarter, but it's like a monthly thing. So it's kind of like Netflix meets Kickstarter. It's a monthly subscription to help fund or get exclusive content or other things like Kickstarter.
Oh, very cool. So like every month you pick a tier, right? You pick a tier. Do you mind if we go to your Patreon page?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
All right, cool. So let's check this out. So here we go. We have Jennifer's Patreon page here where you can you have different tier levels here. So this is your like monthly subscription, right?
Yeah, so I do. There's like digital content's like really popular right now. So I do all my own photography. So a lot of it's you can either do digital stuff only, but I'm really old school. I really like prints, so I do a lot of like Polaroids and very limited edition prints every month and
Very
stuff like
cool.
that.
So this is where they can become a vandal, right? Part of the vandals.
Where you become a vandal. This is like new, so it's still like very exciting for me to like say that yes, become a vandal. And I just did this photo shoot this month.
This right here, right?
Yeah, that was just a cell phone picture, but I actually took out my camera and did like a whole photo shoot, and I went through the photos last night and they look really cool. So I'm very excited.
And you made this logo, right? Did you make this?
Yes, I hand painted that, and it took forever. And then I put glitter on it, which you have to multi-layer glitter. That was probably honestly like
glitter is evil, Jennifer.
Yeah, that was probably like 16 hours worth of work at least.
Wow, that's
just
crazy.
to paint that. But it looks so cool. It photographs so awesome. So it was like totally worth it.
I bet. That's awesome.
The Vandals, and that's a great name.
Oh, that's really perfect. That's like awesome branding right there. And guys, guys and girls, anyone out there that wants to subscribe and become a vandal, you can find the link in the description for the show.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Yep, and Greg Roybal is a vandal. He's on your page.
Yes, Greg. Yes, you know Greg?
He's in the chat.
There's a chat. I didn't know there was
I'm on your Patreon. Yes.
Yes, Greg. Hi, Greg.
So Jen, so about your studio now. You build your studio, right? You're like, I'm going for this. I'm not going to be an accountant. I work for a comic book company, and that was great. You got a lot of experience. You help get that company started. You work with that. Then you break out on your own. And you've gone so much now that you have items and stuff, though, like in your studio, right? Now, is there things that you can, showcase? Like, you get sponsors or anything like that for some of the stuff in your in the studio? Some of the the gear, some of the photography equipment, anything like that?
No, none of my equipment's sponsored.
All you?
I am like really bad. I'm like a workaholic, honestly. It's like really bad. But it's when like my hobby became my career. So everybody says, "Oh, I'm done working for today. What am I going to do? Let's do my hobby." "Oh, what's my hobby?" "Oh, well, it's my work." So it just all my extra time goes to working, and then whenever you work all the time, you want to be able to produce all the best stuff. So it's important to have it's not important to have the best equipment, because I definitely started off with very not awesome equipment. So it's definitely been a build up. But I mean, like, I have a Cintiq now, so I can't really show you. I'm talking into it right now. But this is before, when I worked for a comic book company. This, like, Cintiqs were something only professionals had. People that were like, you were big time if you like have your Cintiq. They're expensive.
Tablet.
Yeah, and then you had to buy the stand on top of that, which is like also really expensive. I'm still like bitter. Like, why didn't it come with a stand? What do you want me to do with it? Hold it? But anyways, that's like beside the point. So
I feel your pain. I'm like looking at mine right now. I'm just glaring at it. The stand's like half the price of the Cintiq.
Yes, I know. It's ridiculous. How does it not come with it? Whatever. I didn't buy the stand at first, and I was using an easel. So like my Cintiq was on an easel, and I'm like hunched over, and it's just like, it was not good. So it was worth it. If you're wondering, anybody has Cintiq, the stand's totally, you have to have it.
It is worth it.
You need the stand.
Well, it's like ergonomical. You can it's just the way it moves and lifts. You can just do so many different things. So what kind of so now you have all the equipment in your studio, you've invested in it. You're doing everything yourself?
Yes, I do all my own photography and all my own editing. Occasionally, like I just did a photo shoot with a photographer who's amazing from Canada named Gaunted. And so it's very rare, though, now that I do any shoots with anybody else. It's just, I'm like such a night owl, and I come in here, I'll start doing a shoot at like midnight or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm drinking coffee right now because I'm like, oh, it's only 8:30. I still have like several hours. I don't go to bed till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, probably. I don't know. I'm just like weird like that.
That's that creative spirit. That's how we are, right? We're all like up all night
sometimes
long.
Your brain is just going, and you can't, but I'm going to go to bed. I've got a great idea. Sorry, I've got to like get it out there. But what was I talking about? I'm sorry. I lose my train of thought.
You're doing, so we were talking about how you do everything. So like, you're doing your own photograph and all that stuff?
Yeah, so actually, I can actually kind of explain it to you while we're here. So I take my camera on a tripod, which I just did a photo shoot, so all my stuff's right here. So I put it on a tripod, which is, I don't know if I can't orient myself like
it's like being a weather person, right?
Right, tripod. And then I hook a monitor up to it via HDMI cable. And so that's how I can see myself whenever I'm doing the photos. And then I have my lights all set up and backdrop or whatever. Sometimes I build sets. Sometimes I use I really like using gel lights a lot too. Those are really fun. But
cool.
Yeah.
So you take most of your photographs or all you yourself? You do all that?
Yeah, like 95% of every photo you see on any social media or my website or Instagram or anything I took it myself. I actually just had somebody during my last photo shoot help me and took some behind the scenes pictures for me, which I've never done before because it's just me. So I don't have anybody to take the pictures. So finally got some, and they're going to be really cool. I'm just so excited because people are like, oh, what? You're the photographer. How do you do that? And I've had people ask me how was that even possible? It's like, oh, it's a lot of monitors and cords everywhere, but it works.
So is everything timed? Do you have is it automatically set all right, I have 8 seconds between a shot, or do you have a remote hidden?
Well, I have a remote. Generally, it's not very hidden. Sometimes I just get so into the flow of the because I can see. So I'm really bad at I would rather see myself, and I'm very visual. Yeah. So I don't know artists are probably pretty familiar because it's just so much helpful to have like a reference photo if you're trying to draw a certain pose. Well, I'm very like visual, so I need to see myself to know, okay, my hand needs to be more here for the composition rather than to be here for the composition. So I spend more time staring at myself, slightly altering my body, and because I have the remote, usually I have to do a pose where one hand is hidden in a certain way, or sometimes the pose is just so good you can see the remote. I would honestly say probably like 50% of my photos and my high-res photos that I use my camera, you can see the remote in my hand, just because I've tried to use it with my foot, but sometimes, you know, you're wearing shoes, so you can't press the button. And there is like a timer setting, but it doesn't work the way I like it to with the way that the monitor sets up. So it's kind of one of those, you know, when you're doing it yourself, it is what it is. And it's like, sorry, guys, you're just going to have to deal with a remote. Yeah. Pretend like it's not there. You could Photoshop it, but you know how much time it would take to Photoshop a remote out of a hand, like over and over and over and over again for every photo. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just lazy. I'll just say that. I'm just lazy.
I mean, it's crazy, though, because like, I'm looking at, I've got like a bunch of monitors in front of me, right? So, and that's how I do everything. But I'm like looking at the photos, right? It's crazy that you do all of this yourself. Like, it's just, that's incredible. You should post like a behind the scenes video of how you do this, because I never thought you actually took the photos yourself.
Oh, thanks.
They're
yeah,
crazy.
I really need to get a videographer or something to like just. Yeah.
So is the remote hidden right there?
Yeah. So it's probably in my hand that you can't see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all these sets, you build these sets.
Yes, I actually learned how to do wax seals. I tried to learn something for every shoot. So this one, this was the first time I did backlighting, so where the majority of the lighting was behind me. Yeah. And I learned how to do the wax seals. They're little hearts. So I call this set love letters. So all of the envelopes are wax sealed, and that was like a fun thing to try to do for that one.
That's cool.
Did you get a customized, Jennifer Van Damsel wax seal?
No, it was just a heart. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. I have like some ideas, and then I'm like, oh, I got to make this idea right now. Oh, but I have to do it. I have to plan it, organize it, like make it and shoot it and edit and release it in 30 days. So everything that you see is made in less than 30 days.
Oh, wow.
That's really impressive, Jennifer. I mean, about how did you, making that, you make those too, right?
Okay, so that particular one, so now that I only have 30 days and I like to learn new things. Yeah. I try to pick one thing to focus on for each individual shoot. So that particular photo, that's an original character. My Vandals and we named her Alethea of the Void. I actually did a poll. Yes. Okay. I did a poll at the beginning of the month, and through a series of polls, the categories were, or the topics or the elements or themes. The themes were angel, corrupted, void, and darkness. So using those keywords, I came up with this concept where she is a corrupted angel that Void created. I watched The Dark Crystal. So this is like super inspired by The Dark Crystal, which is why even though she's like an evil angel, dark angel, she's pink and purple, because I love in The Dark Crystal that just because it's corrupted, they didn't do like the black and goth and evil. It's still like a beautiful object. Yeah. And so so the dress, I actually, this was supposed to be a 2-day challenge. I was supposed to give myself only 2 days to put it together, so that way I could just keep the ball rolling and get my project finished. But then I ended up making the armor pieces, and that took me longer than I thought. So the dress I actually bought on Amazon and modified it, and the wings as well. I've had those wings for like forever, and I just say I play dress up, where I literally just have like props and clothes that I just buy randomly. And then when I feel like doing a shoot, I just go to my closet and I'm just like pick and play dress up and just pull out random stuff and make an outfit out of it. Yeah. So
Jennifer, now with that particular costume, do you do a sketch and show it to your vandals, do you show it to the vandals like as a sketch concept, or do you describe it to them?
Yeah, so for that particular, for Alethea, I actually knew that I wasn't going to have time to sew an entire, because I had the idea of I wanted it to be like a Greek angel, so I love their gowns, and I had just gone to the art museum and seeing all those paintings. I was just really inspired by that, like that Grecian angel. So that's why I went with like a very long flowing dress, and so I knew I wasn't going to have time to make one. So I went on Amazon, and so then I just took pictures of the dress and took pictures of the wig and took a photo of the wings that I had and just in Photoshop edited it, because I'm not very good at drawing. I try really, really hard, but I'm just not very good at it. So it's just easier for me to take clips and put it in Photoshop and like make it like a paper doll, basically. So yeah, that's what I did. I just took all my different inspirations. I actually have a tier that specifically, if you only want to hear about like what inspired a shoot, my like $3 tier that's where I post like I made it my cheapest tier, because if anybody's interested, cares about what's going on in like my crazy brain, I will gladly explain it to you. But yeah, so yeah, I put it Dark Crystal, World of Warcraft, the Void Walkers, and all the keywords and everything, and then just made a big collage basically to kind of explain it.
That's insane. That's so much work. I'm like tired listening to everything that you do.
Yeah, on my Patreon, like after I did the shoot, I was like, all right, guys, because even with that one, okay, so this is how crazy I got with this one. I made it a rock opera where I edited 7 photos and I paired a song with each of the photos. So the song and the story tells the story of her corruption. So the first photo is her looking very like afraid, and then the last photo is her looking very sinister. So, and I love music I probably love music more than I love comic books. I just also am not artistic enough to make music. So I paired my music now with the photos, and it's the first time I had ever done that, and I really, really enjoyed it. But it was a lot of work, and I had to say, you know what, guys, I would love to do this every single month, but just on top of doing everything, I am exhausted. Like that was just a really exhausting project, but it's honestly like one of my favorite things that I've ever had the chance to make.
Yeah, I mean, you may not be very talented with drawing, but I mean, you are an artist. I mean, this is incredible what you're putting together.
Thank you.
I mean, like all the costumes you do, like everything looks so like crazy. That's so cool. I'm sorry, I get so like blown away when I start to. It's like I'm comprehending everything that you're doing, and just looking at like all like this right here. Hang on, wrong one. Where'd it go? Like your Catwoman.
Oh yes, my Catwoman's very popular.
That's awesome. Your Harley. And sorry. I mean, all this stuff, you made all of this, right?
Yeah, so the Harley, I didn't make like the socks, but the top and the bottom, like I made. That one was when I knew I was going to be doing New York Comic Con with Jimmy and Amanda, and Invicta hired me to make Amanda Connor's Harley Quinn. Yeah. And that was really fun because she just draws her like just so much fun, and always like the posing and always getting into trouble, very mischievous. And so I had a lot of fun doing that photo shoot. And it's really cool it's like good and bad. So with the Alethea, it's an original character, and I just let my mind wander. But it always helps me to have like an inspiration. So that's why the Dark Crystal, it really, really formed that character concept a lot. And so that's why it was really fun getting to work with Amanda Connor's Harley Quinn and getting to kind of like try to make specifically that character in her art style, even though I'm like a real person. I try to do that with like the color palettes and the editing. Oh, that one's one of my favorites.
This one's beautiful. I love this one.
Yeah,
Thank
that really
you.
is.
It's one of my favorites. It has no boobs or butts, so it's not that popular, but
no,
but
it's
like
is that true? Really?
Oh yeah.
No, it's a beautiful piece. It's one of my favorites that I've seen so far of all the ones that I've seen. This is great. And I mean, so how long does it take or are you doing it in Photoshop? Like some of the complexions you're doing, like when you're doing like a character like this right here, or a look like this, is this all makeup? Is this lighting? Is it Photoshop?
Okay, so specifically for this one, and with the Harley Quinn, that one is one of my hardest sets that I ever had to edit because I did edit the skin, and she's not just like pale. And if you take too much color out of the skin, like you can't just have like white skin. It looks really, really weird.
Yeah.
So you can't just take out all the color. So it was really hard with Harley Quinn balancing that. With this death piece, I did not paint my face for this one either. Harley Quinn, I painted my face, but not the rest of my body. This one, I didn't do my face. I just did a second photo in grayscale. And then copied it and then put it on top and then adjusted the transparency to where it looked like a good eyeball everything. So I just eyeballed it to where I thought that there was a little bit of color coming in through the black and white, and then you just erase the rest of the layers to where it only shows on the skin.
Gotcha.
Right, dude?
That's
insane.
Oh
my gosh.
Oh, I guess I did. I'm sorry. I'm like an over-explainer.
No, that's the point. No, we want to know the process. So, I mean, you went to school for accounting. So, is this all self-taught, or did you actually go back and learn how to use, Photoshop and all the other software and things?
No, I'm completely self-taught. I'm not going to say completely self-taught. I have no formal schooling or training, but when I worked for Overground Comics and I was making comic books, I learned how to use certain things of Photoshop, and I flatted a lot of the books, so I knew how to do like basic coloring and layers and stuff like that. So I just kind of applied that knowledge to Photoshop. I like watch a lot of YouTube videos. Phlearn, Phlear, and it's like Photo Learn is like a really good YouTube series that I've learned like some stuff from. But a lot of like trial and error. For me personally, I don't use that many tools, probably because I don't know that they exist since nobody's like taught me how to use them. So a lot of my stuff is trial and error, visually seeing, oh yeah, no, okay, that works. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, delete that. So just eyeballing everything.
And then this was an image I was trying to bring up, and this is like for the costume.
Oh yes.
How long did that take? To make?
I'm like I don't know. I just like I put my head down and I gotta work, and I work like super. I don't time things. I just keep going down until it goes. But okay, so I didn't make the corset. I've tried to make corsets several times, and they're literally one of the hardest things on the planet. So if you ever hear anybody say, "Oh, I made this corset," those are hard. They're so hard to make. So I didn't make that, but I just get on these whims, and I just this artist, his name is Michael Dooney. He's an amazing artist. He does a lot of it's like his 1887 inspired series where he does a lot of Victorian style characters. And I just had seen his PowerGirl so many times, and I just loved it so much. And then just on a whim, it was before C2E2. I was like, you know what? I've only got 3 days. That's like a thing for me. I've only got 3 days. I should make an entire new costume. So that's what I did. Like 3 days before C2E2, I put this all together. I went to the store and was just like, that fabric. It was one of those costumes that like everything worked out so well. Like all the pearls and the gold, like that was all different. Like sections of the store, different trims, not like the same brand or buy it in a pack. They just all happen to have like these gold and pearl items, and it was like, oh, that, and that. Oh, look, those match perfectly. Wow, that's really random. And just like the gold ribbon happened to match the gold trim that I used for the skirt, and it was just, this was really just one of those costumes that came together so perfectly, and I was so happy with it. And it's one of my favorite wigs ever, and this is actually my living room.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love my
You
Power
took
Girl.
that photo yourself and everything?
Yep, and I took and edited that photo.
Now, the thing about the armor and stuff, you know, like when you have the gauntlets and the headpieces and things like that, how is that made? What is that made of?
Usually I work with craft foam. Warbler is also like pretty popular, but foam like I say, I just make stuff so fast. I always have foam on hand. I'm started out more of sewing than making armor, so I'm still really new. It's just very time consuming and tedious. I really enjoy the painting process. I don't enjoy sculpting very much at all. It's probably my least favorite form of art. But that's a lot of what the armor building is. You're like sculpting. So I don't enjoy making the armor very much, but I really, really like painting it. So that was just, I like to do little pieces because then I get tired of doing stuff a lot. I get tired really fast of doing the same thing like over and over.
Do you ever contract out some of your pieces for your costumes or anything? Or it's always just you're the one doing them?
I have in the past. I'm definitely not opposed to it at all. I know that's kind of like a controversial thing with cosplay. Did you make that? No, you didn't make that. Oh, well then nobody cares about it. But I think it's really important to support like other artists. Some people are crafters. They don't enjoy being in front of the camera, so they're not models. A lot of the times it's guys, and guys can't get the traction that girls can get because we've got boobs, and that's just like the truth of it. So I had a costume that I made. It was a mix between Metal Gear Solid and Princess Peach, and I called it Solid Peach. And I had an idea to do the cannon, a big cannon, and I did have my friend make it. One of my very popular costumes, Cammy White from Street Fighter. My friend Mason made my gauntlets for me. So I am definitely not opposed to hiring other people to do commissions. It's just I have just been in such a whirlwind with all my studio space being built. It took like several months. And then all my work was in my actual house in my living room, which was like driving me nuts.
Yeah.
So now that everything's finally in here, it's kind of like a reset for me. I'm like, okay, now that it's built, I can have my space to work in, and I can start collabing with more people now. I have a place to invite people over. And I definitely hope in the future to be collabing again with more people because I think it's really important to support our crafters out there.
Yeah, so Jimmy Palmiotti says, we finally have a good guest, Billy.
Oh, Jimmy.
And then he wants to know what the hell you're doing, Billy. I told him you're just making a PB&J.
I'm drawing my zombie covers.
He's drawing zombies.
He's multitasking.
I gotta draw like 75 of these. So that's what I'm doing. I'm listening though. I'm listening.
And Jimmy says Jen was the best Harley ever.
Oh my god! Don't say that. You're gonna make me cry. Oh my god.
But you were fantastic because you were at the New York Comic Con last year, and Cosplays is really taking you places, right? I mean, think about it. You got into this as a fan, right? Or somebody else got in, you were a fan, you wanted to do it, and now look at you. Now you're a guest at the New York Comic Con. You're at the Invicta booth. You're being mobbed because I just came up to say hello, and we had to wait. For you because you were just mobbed by all these people and stuff. And like, where else has cosplay taken you? I mean, you've gone on some pretty cool adventures, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I would like to start out we talked about this at the very beginning, but I never actually told the story of how I met you. So that was actually my second convention ever, which is Dallas. And I will say, ever since you met me, that very first day, you're like, I'm going to draw this Western Wonder Woman. It's amazing. I love it. I'm going to draw it. And I'm still waiting. You've drawn me as Catwoman and Raven, but I'm still waiting on the Western Wonder Woman.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it for sure. And then, but it's not going to compare to your pictures of you. It's like, it's insulting compared to, I mean, you look far better in the photograph than I could draw it, but I'll do it. I'd be honored to do it. We'll have a lot of fun with it.
It's an old costume, so it's not that great. No, it's still one of my favorite costumes. I'm not gonna lie. The bandana corset with a blue jean,
and your hat, your cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll make it like a 1940s pinup.
Pinup, yes, that would be so great. Yes.
All right, that'd be fun. We'll talk about it afterwards, and I'll do that for sure.
Okay. And I've never shot I've never shot that costume personally, so maybe I'll have to bust it out and do like a whole new photo shoot with it, and we'll do like a whole thing.
That'd be fun.
That'd be
I would
cool.
love that. I would adore that. So I remember. So getting that.
Oh, right.
Where's cosplay taking you now? It took you to New York City.
Yes.
Where else have you gone through this? Coming out as a fan, that you're at these shows in Texas, and now you are. I don't know. I mean, how many Instagram followers do you have? You have your Patreon. I mean, you're a guest at all the. Tell us where cosplay is taking you.
Oh well, I mean, I will say I want to. Invicta was like so good to me last year. I went on a cruise like with them, and I got to go to New York. And because of Invicta, I got to like hang out with Jimmy and Amanda, and I got to hang out with Jim Lee, which I literally cried. I have a photo, and I wanted to like send it to you, but I had to find it on my phone, and I didn't have time. But there was like I have a photo of me, like Tim Townsend took of me like crying because I'm like sitting next to Jim Lee dressed as his version of Catwoman from Hush, and that I literally just did a photo shoot like inspired by specifically Hush, and he was always one of my like idols. I love his art. I mean, who doesn't love Jim Lee's art?
Yeah, he's fantastic. He really is.
And he was just like so nice to me, and I just sat there the whole time. I was just like, I can't believe I'm sitting here like next to this person. And I mean, another big thing, I just love Catwoman, but like I've met Adam Hughes because of that, because of cosplay, and I adore his Catwoman, and I've heard he tells me he's a fan of my Catwoman too, so it's kind of like that phrase like, oh, senpai noticed me. It's kind of like, it's cool whenever people that you're fans of is also like a fan of you, and it seems like very unreal. Right.
And you've also posed like for some comic book covers, right? I mean, I've seen your face on some covers, and like, what covers have you been on?
Jeff Tuccall actually drew me as Captain Marvel on one of the Civil War covers. I have it. It's like sitting on my shelf. It's like one of my like prized possessions.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love it. He's an amazing artist, and I didn't even know he was going to do it. It wasn't like a collab. He just did it and was like, hey, look, I drew you as Captain Marvel on this cover. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty freaking like amazing. Like, who does that happen to? Not very many people. So, yeah, I mean, I've been to Chicago, which now is like one of my favorite cities to like visit. I've to Denver, Seattle, Orlando, Miami, like all kinds of cities that I never ever would have traveled to if not for comic book conventions and cosplay.
Yeah, and even the 50th anniversary of the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, I did.
So
has it taken you out of the country at all?
I haven't been out of the country. I just finally got my passport whenever I had to do that cruise for Invicta, but I was like so tired I didn't even like get off of the ship for like but maybe like an hour or two. So no, I haven't, but it's never stop dreaming. So next goal is about my studio space. That was like really I feel like I'm gonna cry like every time I like start talking about it. It's like really just like what artist doesn't want to have like their own studio space? People will say like the she shed. Like I got a whole warehouse. Like I got a whole big giant metal building, and so it's just like really above and beyond like what I ever would have dreamed that I would have one day.
And you built the inside of that building.
Yes, yes, it did with my hands, and it was terrible. Somebody let me have power tools. It was not good.
Well, it's still standing.
So Nile,
yeah.
We talked about, look, we got Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Jim Lee, Adam Hughes, San Diego Comic-Con spokesperson for Invicta watches. But I don't know if that compares to being being live on the air with Nile the Brain Scala and teen sensation Billy Tucci.
I know.
This is my first podcast. This is my first podcast I've ever done like live. So
well, maybe it'll open doors and you'll get more invites to other shows.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
It makes me so nervous.
It's not that bad.
No, I just am like really shy. I really hate videos. This is so awkward.
I know. When we first started, it was very awkward. Like you're just sitting here and you're talking into a camera. you know, and you're just watching like comments and stuff go by and stuff. But then you get used to it. Now it's just like I'm sitting down, you know. But hey, 61 shows. Well, actually, like more like 70 shows in. So we're doing pretty good. You know, now we just need.
That's a lot.
Now we just have to get your, to be a Vandal commercial so that we can post it on the video.
Yes.
Commercial.
An advert.
Oh my goodness, that would be so exciting.
Bring in more Vandals. So, cosplay is everything doing, but, you've mentioned, you've worked at a comic shop, you're into comics. I mean, when did you get into comic books? What are you into? What are you still reading? Are there any books that you're kind of like, I was into it, but the way it's going now, it's not really my thing?
So I guess none of my family is into any of this stuff at all. So I just kind of picked up random stuff. I think in middle school, I became friends with some people. I was like, hey, have you ever read a manga? Have you watched anime? And I'm like, no. And they're like, here, borrow this. And so I just, okay, sure. And same with like comics. I guess Batman, really. I've always loved Batman. And so that was really my first reading a lot of Batman trades and stuff. I've never really been like a single issue person. I'm a binge everything. I binge read, binge work, binge like watch television. So I don't know. I guess once I started really working for Overground Comics, I stopped reading a lot of main title. Actually, I read a lot of like the New 52 stuff when that first came out. That's actually like one of my talking points when I met Jimmy Palmiotti. I was talking to Billy and I bought his Jonah Hex print and I was like, oh, I love the New 52 Jonah Hex. He happened to be sitting next to Jimmy Palmiotti and I didn't know what he looked like. And he was like, oh, that's me. I write that. And I was like, oh, well, I'm a huge fan of yours apparently. So thank you so much. But I haven't been reading too many like Marvel or DC stuff recently. I am actually currently reading Painkiller Jane. I feel like this is like a commercial for Jimmy Palmiotti, really.
And Jimmy wants Billy to prove that he's wearing pants.
I gotta tell you a funny story about these pants. Hang on.
Oh gosh.
It's a storm out, so I got caught in the storm. So I got
what's going on?
Sweatpants, workout pants. See those Adidas, whatever things they are. See? How's that? Can you see them? Can you see my pants?
There you go, Jimmy. He's got pants.
There you go.
And Jimmy's sending hugs your way, Jennifer.
Aw. I'm excited. I'm gonna do a shoot. I'm excited. Jimmy's been awesome.
Have you ever done Painkiller Jane?
No. He told me that he's doing a Kickstarter and wanted to do like some cosplay photos and stuff. And I said, sure, let me read it. And so I got Painkiller Jane and I've been reading it, but he's been awesome. I think movies are a crash course in inspiration. So whenever I'm like, okay, visually, tell me something. So that's why I like movies, because then I asked Jimmy, okay, Painkiller Jane, I'm going to read the comic, but okay, what's a movie that you would say is similar, like inspired by, or maybe inspired by Painkiller Jane, or visually something? And he said The Professional, which I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
So that was great. But then he indulged me even further. I really like doing playlists, like when I'm doing a photo shoot, to get me in like the mood of the character. And so he like listed a whole bunch of songs for me that are very Painkiller Jane. So I haven't listened to them yet. I got to finish this month's stuff before I can start working on my next month's stuff, because I'll get too excited and then be like, oh no, I want to do it right now. But I'm like, no, I have other stuff I have to do first. I've had a lot of coffee now, so I'm like talking like
Jumping is like the worst, especially when you start getting really good ideas or good opportunities and you're like, all right, I'm gonna work a little bit on here, then I'm working on here, but then you're like working on this and you're like, I got an idea for that, and like you're jumping back and forth. But the worst is like then you just kind of look at that one, let's say like 1 out of 4, you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm going back to you.
That's a problem with costumes, because especially when you start making the more elaborate costumes, my attention span generally only lasts like 3 days, honestly. If I can't finish something in 3 days, then it's likely going to get put off, because I'll be inspired by something else or want to work on something else. Or so I constantly have like 3 pretty big projects going on at once. And then I box them. I call them boxing them. So I put them in a big Tupperware container or box or whatever. And then when I'm ready, see, my coffee is making me go too fast.
You're fine. You're doing great.
Slow down.
So anyways, yes. So I'll have like 3 costumes at once. I'll work on it for a few days, and if it's not finished, what about this other project that I wanted to work on over there? And then just keep rotating it out until eventually something's finished.
Nice. Now, I've actually had some questions come through, and I'm kind of like scanning the chat, looking at questions and things, and one question I kind of see up is, I guess more of the negative side of cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're, nothing's too specific here, but kind of, give us a little bit like, what's the negative side of cosplay? Like if you're at a convention, I mean, obviously the highs of everything is that, you've got your fans, this and that, but, what are the bad parts of cosplay that, the things you kind of have to deal with? It comes with the business.
I think that is different for everybody. Mm-hmm. For me personally, I'm not going to say it's like bad or negative, but one of my personal like struggles with is the social media. Mm-hmm. I always say that the social media life chose me. I didn't choose social media. What does the phrase go? I didn't choose the social media life. It chose me.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I was gonna get it one day, but I'm just like such a shy like introvert. Really, I like have to have coffee to like move my mouth a lot and talk a lot, so that way. It's not that I'm not personable and I love my fans. I just am like, it just is so shy, like talking to people. Mm-hmm. And then when you're on the internet and then there's just so many mean, awful people on the internet and they'll say anything to you because they're like behind a screen. And then I feel like there's just like a lot of pressure to produce content constantly. Mm-hmm. And it's got to be the same with somebody who's on a monthly book. I mean, for me, I can't imagine, and I've worked for a comic book publisher and with other artists. Like, I could not pump out a comic book like every 30 days. That's insane. Like, to draw an entire comic book in 30 days, that's crazy. But but you got to have the monthly issue. You got to have the content because that's what people want. You just got to produce. And so I feel like there's like a lot of pressure, to constantly produce new, better things, be on top of like what's popular, which I pick and choose my battles. Mm-hmm. I don't try to like stay on top of like the hot topics or what's going on, what's popular. I kind of just try to do my own thing. Smart. Well, it's just so much to keep up with, and so there's just too much going on. I have too many other things going on. Mm-hmm. I guess that would be like just big social media. And, there's so much. There's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And then right now, like Instagram is having an issue with a lot of cosplayers where they're there's like a theory that people are like trolls basically are like reporting posts and they just keep doing it over and over and over again, that mm-hmm. Instagram automatically without like checking just deletes the post. But then whenever you get your post deleted, it's like you're going to jail, where then Instagram puts you in jail and you don't get like new followers because your hashtags don't work, and because they think you're doing inappropriate content, so they don't want to showcase that to like new people. But it's not though. I've had a few of my posts deleted recently, and my Instagram has been like frozen because of perhaps like trolls just reporting.
Yeah, that's a big part of your business.
Yeah, I did an oopsie, and I guess I focused mostly on Instagram, and I feel like I didn't diversify like mm-hmm. as well as I should have. So yeah, Instagram is like a huge part of my business, and it's a lot of advertising. And so every time they mess with the algorithms or allow people to just report whatever and don't have any sort of check and balance system to where they're making sure that it should actually be reported, because I've had selfies, like pictures of just my face, reported and deleted, and for
the haters.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cattiness in comics, believe it or not. There's a lot of like adults, grown men and women, and they're doing that. They're reporting accounts for, just so much of this garbage that's going on. This I guess it's part of people coming from a generation where everyone gets a trophy and stuff, and if they're miserable in their life, they will really unfounded and just start rumors and just have people attack someone out, say another comic creator without seeing the original post, and just assuming things. And I can imagine it's got to be the same because like comics, cosplay is all visual, so I can imagine the mean spiritedness, say, of what of what must transpire at shows or after shows, or someone like you posting your images from your business. You post a new thing, and then people are like, oh God, I just don't like her, and just being a little shit, you know what I mean, and doing it's infuriating,
Yeah.
Well, those people will never be on crowdfunding comments, I'll tell you that.
No.
Yeah.
Missy.
So how long do they lock you out, though? Is it like 30 days, or is it all depending?
That's the thing, that's why it's like so frustrating, because you log on, you like open your Instagram app, and then it just says a post has been deleted because it violates the community guidelines. But you don't get to talk to a person. There's no detailed explanation. There's no, this is going to happen like for a certain period of time. Like there's no explanation or details or anything. So I have no idea how long this like frozen Instagram is going to count or last. I don't know who is seeing my posts or who's not seeing my posts. Like, I don't know if the hashtags are working or aren't working. I have no idea. I'm also not very good at social media. I'm sure if I did some more research, I'd be able to like figure all this out, but I just like don't have time for that. And it's just like an annoyance, really. I need to like, I heard Instagram's customer service is really awful. I tried to get verified like a few months ago, and they just never responded. They apparently just have really terrible communication. So even if I were to be like, hey, can somebody explain to me why this keeps happening to me? Can you fix this? Like, there's no guarantee that they would actually respond to me, because they haven't in the past.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too with Instagram. I mean, surprisingly, YouTube, I'd have to say, like, whenever we have any issues, they let you kind of, well, what's your side of the case? Defend yourself.
Yeah, that's
they
good.
give you an opportunity to, that, and also you can select like what they call human review. So if like someone comes back and be like, no, give me a human review, and then someone actually reviews everything, and every time we've had to do that, we're good. We're green light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram really needs to have that.
Yeah. So now, do you do anything with like Twitch or YouTube, anything like that?
Yes and no. I used to stream back when I worked for Overground Comics. I had like a 3-day-a-week streaming schedule, but that was because I was not also like doing my own photos and editing. And it's just I love being on Twitch and interacting with people. Well, I get very nervous. I'm always very nervous and shy, just like this being here and rambling on forever. But I always have a good time, and I love interacting with my fans. But it's just become one of those things that I have to have the time for it. And every month I'm just like, gotta get ahead. And when I get ahead, then I'll have time to do more of the things that I want. That's not a monthly like duty. Yeah. And I haven't been able to catch up yet, but I want to. I'm going to start doing conventions again next year. I took this year off of conventions just because my studio space and getting everything organized. So I'm going to start doing conventions again next year. So it's going to be a balance of the travel with all this stuff and then still trying to get on Twitch. But I love Twitch. I love streaming and I love chatting. I just read the chat most of the time. I don't really ever even play games. I get distracted. I've tried to draw or craft or like paint or do stuff, and I end up I talk with my hands. So I end up reading the chat and just like talking the entire time and never actually accomplishing anything.
Have you ever considered like doing any like how-to videos for, people trying to get into cosplay with your experience?
Okay, so 2 things. I've thought a lot about it, but I'm not an expert. Like, I'm not the best seamstress. I'm not the best photographer. I'm not the best like editor. So the best things that I can do is point people in the direction of people that are actually good at like explaining those things. Like Martin Wong has like a Discord where people do reviews of others' photos. He lets people ask questions there. So my friend Mike Saffles, he does professionally edit photos, so you can send him photos and he'll edit them for you. There's so many great like Kenpatsu, Kamui. There's so many cosplayers that they build their business on tutorials, and I would rather direct people to those professionals than me try to like, well, this is kind of sort of what I did, but it's not technically right. Hopefully that like works out for you. So I mean, I try to explain things like when I do details or when I paint stuff, like little techniques and stuff I do post on my like Patreon and stuff like that. But I also don't have the time to like edit videos or anything like that. So video editing is extremely time consuming.
Very time consuming, yes.
I think you would be huge on it if you got, say, an assistant or an intern, and you can do the behind the scenes of your shoots, and also shots of you sewing something, and stitching, and doing your little the mold thing, setting up the background. And then you just make like, say, a 10-minute behind the scenes. And if you can have someone there, someone there that, like I said, like an intern or someone who's like your assistant that wants to get into someone, a friend of yours or something, I think you could, and you do it and you do 12 of them, say, of each of your monthly, the Patreon thing, that, your different themes. I think pretty darn big. I think it'd be huge, actually.
Life would be a lot easier if I had an assistant. That is for sure.
Maybe that's the next level. You've got your studio now, maybe an assistant, down the road as things keep growing for you.
Yes, that would be ideal. That would be perfect. Yeah, everything would be a lot easier if I had an assistant, and that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking for, hopefully within the next year. It's definitely the next stepping stone, next goal, next dream.
You will. You're going to blow up even more than you already have.
Oh, I'm sure.
Thanks,
I'm sure. 366,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, it's, you're going to just keep going up and up. Now, I have to ask, so obviously, doing cosplay, I mean, it's an image, it's a look, it's a costume. I mean, what is the regiment? Is it a lot of, do you have a certain diet? Do you, have a special exercise regimen? Like, how do you keep everything, you got to stay fit doing what you're doing?
Yeah, that's another thing. It sucks because I'm like real lazy, but so I try to eat pretty healthy. I don't do no carb, but I do try to do like very limited carbs. I don't keep any junk food in the house. Well, yes, I do, but I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to because then I eat it. But I always say I work out so I can eat like the way I want to eat. I eat like, I'm not like a bodybuilder, like the way they eat nothing but brown rice and chicken every single meal. And I definitely have they're not even cheat meals at this point. They're just like unhealthy meals that I choose to eat. I try to balance my eating habits with my workout, but I do work out 2 to 3 times a week, either between, I do a lot of weightlifting. I'm actually just got a squat rack. So I actually am building an at-home gym, and I have all the weights and stuff like that. I just really like food a lot. So in order to maintain a nice body, I definitely have to work out a lot. So it's one of those man, that sucks. But I love the results. Yeah. I don't enjoy working out, but I do enjoy having a fit body and having a nice butt. And I want my butt to be as big as the moon one day. That's another goal. So lots of more squats. And it's definitely a lot of work. You can't tell right now, so this is something that I might consider blogging about on my website. I actually have pretty terrible skin, and I actually just recently went to the dermatologist to go on Accutane for a second time. When I first started cosplaying, I went on Accutane, and my skin has gotten so bad again that I have to go on it again. And so that's like another thing, you know, when you take pictures of yourself for a living, you know, my skin's about to get really dry, my lips are really chapped all the time. So it's like one of those things, like when you take photos of your face for a living, it's really going to suck. But it's just part of the whole, you know,
regiment, really.
Regiment. Yeah, regiment. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to talk to Debbie about that. What Debbie has done. She has her franchise with her health and wellness, and she'd be able to help you out. I mean, it's all natural. It's all against animal testing, and it's amazing what this company has. And I think that's right down your alley. I think you'd love it.
I'll have to talk to her for sure because, yeah, it's about to get, like, my skin's about to be peeling and be really dry. So anything that's moisturizing, exfoliating is going to be my best friend for the next few months.
Nice.
I don't know. My pores, you can't even see them. It's amazing.
It's all that nighttime cream you use, right?
Exactly.
So, Jennifer, who are your favorite cosplayers? Because I'm sure you've met so many of them and stuff. And, like, do you have, like, you know, like some of your best friends in the cosplay, like, do you have a group of fellow cosplayers that you really enjoy, that you guys get together with, that you talk, you trade ideas, or you just kind of pal around with at shows or anything, or are you just too busy for that?
Yeah, like, I don't really have any, I guess my role in, like, the cosplay community is not very big. Like, I don't really have any, like, cosplay best friends or anybody that I chat with. Rosanna, who I think you know, Rosanna Rocha Cosplay, we talk, but it's just so hard, like, collabing with people when they live in different states.
Yeah.
And then, you know, flights are pretty expensive. But the thing is, now I've got my studio space, so I can at least have a space for us to, like, work together, which is awesome. But I mean, the first cosplayer that I ever followed and is like one of the nicest people ever, and I just respect her. I can never say enough good things about her, is Yaya Han.
Oh, yeah, she's wonderful.
She is like,
yep.
Even before, like, I got really serious into cosplay, I was always like, she's my idol. She literally, like, built an entire business around cosplay, and not just the costume aspect of it. Now she's, like, in Joann's stores designing and selling her own fabrics and trims. She just is, like, writing a book, and it's going to be in stores. I mean, she really took what cosplay could be as, like, a business and really went all out with it. And I'm just, like, so happy to see her face. Like, when I walk into a store, they have, like, posters of her, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so amazing to see people succeed and grow, and just it's so awesome.
I mean, there's nothing better though than seeing, like, when I go to conventions and stuff, I mean, it's so cool to see, you know, cosplayers that take the time and the quality to put together and, like, bring those characters that, you know, I like, and they bring them to life, you know, for that day. It's pretty cool. So it's really neat, like, seeing that and how much it's built up. Because, I mean, you guys are right there with the celebrities that are there, with the top artists that are there. I mean, it's really cool. You know, it's really neat that this has grown into what it is, and the quality and time, and the fact that you can make a business of it, and that means you can take that money to continue bettering your product. In bringing people's characters to life. It must be such a good feeling to, like, have people run up and be like, hey, take a photo, you know, can I take a photo with you? Or, you know, oh, this is my favorite character and you're dressed like her and stuff like that. I mean, that's got to be awesome.
It really is just, like, a special experience that I know a lot of people don't get to have the experience of, like, making something. And then a person just not even knowing you, but just seeing you. And then they just have appreciation for what you made. And I would say, like, not a lot of people, because it's just, not everybody is an artist, not everybody makes things. So you have to be an artist, first of all. And then you have to, like, be in a place. Some people just make art in their house and they never, like, show it to anybody. And so just to make something, put it out in the world, and you're like, well, for me, I'm like, oh my God, oh no, like, so many people are about to see this, and hopefully this is, like, good. Because for me, it's all my taste, because there's no, like, other photographer or editor or anything. It's just me. So I'm like, well, I think this looks good, so hopefully everybody else does too. Cool. And so but, like, getting the feedback and the appreciation. And when somebody just tells you like, this is my favorite character, this is very meaningful to me, and the fact that you put in so much time and appreciation for that character, like I appreciate your hard work, and that's just like when somebody tells me that, that's like the best feeling, like the whole world.
Makes it now, and now we asked our guests these, and if you don't feel comfortable, then no. But there's got to be a dark side to cosplay, right? I mean, there's got to be some scary moments or anything like that. I mean, if you're out there, you're taking photos of right? I mean, we ask our guests these things a lot, we'll say, what's your best Comic-Con experience? What's your worst? But I mean, there's got to be, it can't be all, it's all hard work, obviously, but there's got to be some downside to it, right? I mean, there's got to be some scary things, and I don't know if you can share things, if there's anything you want to, but I just feel we have to ask it because it's an interview,
Yeah.
And people do that kind of stuff. They really do,
Yeah, there's definitely some like bad, like scary. I would say, scary parts of it. I used to, would be fine doing a convention by myself. Like I would think I went to Boston like by myself, and that no big deal. But last year, especially, I mean, I've been followed like outside of the convention center, like down the street when I'm trying to like get to an Uber or a hotel, my hotel. I've like, last year earlier this year, I had a fan show up to my house.
Oh,
oh yeah, that was really scary. It was like that was like a crazy thing that happened. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. Well, what's your best cosplay moment? Was it the Jim Lee thing? Was it?
Yeah. I would say it probably was the Jim Lee thing. Just I cried, and so I think that's a pretty significant moment. Invicta had these posters, and he was drawing Batman, like a quick sketch for everybody. And then he did mine last. He was like, "Oh, do you want one of these?" It's like, "Oh, I'd love one." And he drew Catwoman, and so I got like the only one that has Catwoman on it. And so now I'm just like,
nice.
I'm so cool. It's like one of my prized possessions.
You're one of a kind.
And now, where was that?
That was in New York.
No, was that at a private party? Was it at the booth?
Yeah, that was at the booth at the table when he was signing his watches for everybody.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. He was really nice. Everybody's been, not everybody, but most of everybody that I've met has just been like super wonderful and nice to me and really welcoming in the comic community and everything. Definitely met some really awesome people that I never would have met without doing all of this. So, you're amazing and you're wonderful, and I met you because of comic conventions. So
let me.
Nile, she met you because of the. She met you.
Yes, I was talking to Nile.
Oh no! Yeah.
No. Oh jeez, guys, come on. So I want to there's just a couple questions here I'd like to get through from the chat. Amazing Spider-Man asks, "What is your favorite Marvel and DC superhero?" One each.
Oh, good question.
Each. That's hard. I'm not good at picking favorites. So, DC, I'm going to have to go the easy answer and just say Batman. I've always been a fan of Batman. I just love Gotham as, in general. I think, I was going to say per capita, but the concentrated, I think Gotham has, the best characters, overall.
I agree with that.
So, I'm going to go with Batman.
No, I do. I completely do.
He's a brony.
Oh no,
Billy. What the hell's that?
Don't pretend like you don't know. Don't pretend.
Is that guys that like My Little Pony?
What up, brony?
Yeah, I am. I guess so.
I'll get you a shirt.
My favorite is Starbright. I don't know. Is that a brony? Yeah. You give me a brony shirt, I'll wear it. Unless is that like a furry, which I find very disturbing. Furries. I really do. Are you friends with furries?
I don't have any furry friends. That's more of an anime crowd thing, and I don't really do that much anime stuff.
That is an anime thing? Furries?
It's very disturbing.
They mostly go to anime conventions.
Really?
Or
Okay.
I mean, now it all kind of bleeds together.
Is it true?
Now
Is
I
it
feel-
real though? Like, is that whole weird furry thing like real?
They told me I was like in Texas
Like they
at one of
rub
those
or something,
like
right?
an anime show, and I'm like, what do you do? What is it hot in that? Like someone was dressed as a cat.
Hey, if
And
that's your thing, you know, you get down, you do all that freaky shit, whatever you want.
Yeah, they
you
told
be happy.
Yeah, they were telling me, and I'm like, oh my god, like the dominating furry.
Yes, they have sex in their costumes.
Really?
Yes. The fuck out of yeah,
That's
dude.
too hot though. Like you're gonna get heat exhaustion.
If you're sweating, it probably wouldn't smell very good.
No, that's horrible. I don't. Whatever. Hey, I guess you could try something once.
Hey, yeah, don't knock it till you try.
I know, right? It's like, oh, it's hot and sweaty. Oh, hey, it's not that bad. I better hide those costumes over there. Now, who do you? We had the question here. Now, who's your favorite character? Whether it's or maybe it's even an outfit you've made your own, maybe your own original character. Who knows? Who's your favorite cosplay character? Let's say.
Oh, that's a good one too.
See, that's hard. That's not an easy question for me because I just literally put so much time and effort and thought into every single thing that I do that when I'm finished, I'm like, oh, that one's my favorite. And then the next time I make something new, I'm like, oh, no, this one's my favorite. And then the next time I make something new, oh, this one's my favorite. I mean.
Well, let me rephrase my question. What's your most memorable cosplay moment? Like the moment where it's like, this was the toughest costume to make, but it came out so well. Like something you may always think back on. Do you have one?
I don't know. It's so not really because I don't, really honestly, what I could say to that is no, because with the way my life goes where I have to have something new every 30 days, I don't really feel like I have a lot of time to like stop and appreciate and be like, that's the best thing I've ever done. Because as soon as you're done with something, all right, on to the next one. It's time for the next idea, the next thing. So that, I guess, I always am caught up in the moment of the costume. And so when I'm caught up in the moment, it's my favorite thing that I've ever done. But then there's a new moment. And I guess, I don't know, maybe I just don't live in the past like that. I'm always, okay, well, now what's next? I finished that. But now I have this new idea, and this is going to be so great, too. So it's just, I'm always looking forward to the future.
Yes, okay.
There's always better. Yeah.
Now, I have a question. As a creator myself, and you're a creator, Billy's a creator, do you make sound effects when you're working on anything? Like, if you're working on a certain character, do you, maybe hum a tune of them? Or, if you're working on a part of it, do you ever, make sound effects?
Not really.
No?
I curse a lot when I... so that's not... but a lot of times I'm listening to, music that I feel like... I listen to a lot of music. I started making playlists.
What's your genre, typically?
Mostly, progressive, hardcore, screamo, metal.
Nice.
Mostly. Yeah.
All right.
I have a very... but I'm very, very particular. I'm very picky about the music that I listen to. But
what's a band right now that's on the in the top of your playlist?
Okay, so I just made a playlist for the Vandals, and so the theme is kind of like my party rock, makes you feel good, makes you want to get into trouble kind of songs.
Yes.
So, well, I put "Beat It" on there by Michael Jackson. Even though it's the opposite, don't get into a fight. Yeah, it's the opposite. Don't get into a fight.
Unless
but
it's
I feel
a
like that's
remake.
a good message because I don't want anybody to actually go out and vandalize anything. So I felt "Beat It" was a good.
You're like the mother hen to your Vandals.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to promote violence or anything. I just thought it was a cool name, and I like my photo shoot. I've got a little spray can that looks like it's made out of glitter, and I mean, it looks really cool, but. I do photo shoots with axes, I'm going to chop somebody, but I don't think anybody should actually go, chop anybody, so.
Yeah.
Oh, I put Kiss on there. I put Detroit Rock City on there. I put, I put Skrillex on there. Kyoto.
Nice.
I put Refused, New Noise on there. Love the Refused. There's some 4 Years Strong, Asking Alexandria, Icy Stars.
Did you ever listen to Tool?
I love Tool.
How do you like the new album?
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to listen to stuff like 5 times, and I'll literally just sit on the couch with my noise canceling headphones, and I'll just sit there and just listen to the music.
So Nile, you're not a big fan of it either?
No, I am. See, the thing is, like, I'll like not like something, but I'll keep listening to it, and then next thing you know, I'm in like love with it, and then like I like wear it out. Like I'll just keep listening to it and listening to it.
That happened to me with 10,000 Days. I was actually not a fan of 10,000 Days at first, but then I just kept listening to it, and now I really, really like it. But this album, I don't know. I've listened to it probably like 3 or 4 times all the way through, and it's just very like there's no climax. It's very just like jam session-y, like the whole time. There's no, I call them moments. Yeah. There's no moments that make me just go like, fuck yeah. Like that's exactly, I'm feeling that in my soul. And it was just too mellow. I like mellow songs, but I'm definitely not into like mellow music as a whole. I like it to like pump me up. So, I don't know. I need to listen to it some more, but I was not like overly excited or thrilled.
Yeah, I agree. Sad. It was sad. I was kind of looking forward to it. And it was kind of funny because like all the memes and stuff are like, and this is how 40-year-old guys are with like when Tool albums comes out and they're like running down a hill or something. I'm not 40 though, or a boomer audience. Bring Me the Horizon. Do you ever hear of them? That's kind of like. That's what I'm into right now. I like the old stuff. The new album is a little different. It's like European techno all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I haven't listened to the new album yet. I like some of their songs. They're not like my favorite, but they're pretty good. They have some good songs.
Yes. Mr. Tucci.
Yes, sir.
What are you listening to?
What am I listening to? Let me think. Well, me and William went to go see
you saw Slipknot, right?
Yeah, so Slipknot a few weeks ago. That was badass. That was a lot of fun. I don't know, what do I listen to? What the hell do I listen to? I listen to, I guess because of the She thing, I've been listening to a lot of music for when I first came up with her.
Oh,
you know, like in the early 90s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just having fun listening to that.
I do that too.
And but I haven't been listening to much music, believe it or not. Because I'm watching, and I don't know if we had this conversation, but I'm binge watching Downton Abbey.
You're doing that too?
It's freaking awesome. I don't know how. Remember you talking about like binge watching, and you like to binge?
Yeah.
Jen, I don't know how people could have waited a week to watch that show from one episode to the other.
Oh, dude, really?
It is that freaking great.
What season are you on? Because I've been closet binging
I'm finishing season 5.
Yeah.
I'll finish that tomorrow when I'm working here. Hopefully not though, because I don't want it to end.
Yeah. And when you're done with that, you got to binge Poldark, which is like the same thing, but it's set in like the 18th century. And I've been talking like a proper British, like an English gentleman. My wife must be going crazy because like that's all I'm doing is like talking in an English accent when I'm not on the camera.
Do you want to go there, right? Yeah.
Like,
no, and I like well because I have like I love that time. We have like.
Where are you watching it?
I'm watching it's on Prime, Amazon Prime. Yeah.
Yeah. So I watch it when I draw over here. And man, it's have you seen it, Jennifer?
No, I haven't seen it. I gotta wait though, because I'll be like, I want to make a costume like this.
Oh yeah,
that would be awesome. Because it's like it starts off about 1911, 1912.
So
right? So 1912, the Titanic sinking. But then it like progressively goes on, into like towards the 20s. So that would be awesome cosplay to do.
And they're like, it's 1924. It's so funny.
But they don't look any different.
It's freaking brilliant, man. And I could see why it's so, successful and people would have parties and stuff. It's just nuts. It's that great. It really is. You got to watch it. And I love it because we have the old Victorian house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. I have the, our house, we got a lot of wood in it and stuff like that. And I just like, I want to sit by the fireplace and drink some scotch and smoke a cigar, that's
Pet your
that
dog.
sort of thing. And so that's what I'm doing. But I've been watching a lot of TV, believe it or not. I don't know why. Instead of just listening to music, I have the TV on while I'm drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I write, I listen to Kitaro. I love Kitaro. And that's like, he came out of maybe 85, 84, and it's like Japanese new age music. But his Kojiki soundtrack actually inspired me to write the Way of the Warrior storyline. That's where I got the first idea for the story. So it's kind of cool visiting that again,
Mm-hmm. Do you like Baltimora, Billy?
Why would you say that, dude? I love Baltimora. Come on.
Brian Blevins asked Billy if he likes Baltimora.
Oh, that's right, Brian. Now, Jennifer, do you know who Baltimora is? Oh,
No.
I don't know either. I don't know.
You don't either?
No,
man, it's funny. He was a '80s one-hit wonder. He had a UK chart hit. I don't even know if he charted here he had a song called Tarzan Boy, and had Sting singing on it and stuff, and it's but he passed away of AIDS though, the poor chap. So, but I think Blevins is a huge fan of the '80s too. But Baltimore is great. Yeah, I think I only know the one song of his though. Yeah. So
my confession right now in music is I've been listening to a lot of like clubhouse music, like old stuff from like the '90s. Yeah. So I listened to like I don't know. I just got into it again, and this is like what I'm playing when I'm drawing. I've got like, the 2000s, so like the 2000s club essentials. So like clubbing music.
Oh.
I don't know.
I know we're both just like.
Yeah, we were going to clubs then, so that we were dancing our asses off to that stuff. So.
Nah.
To the 90s. I worked at the Palladium, so
Did
I worked
you?
at the Palladium. Yeah, and that's where the whole thing with Mark Hamill. I worked at the Palladium in 1986 and 87, and I was a bus boy. And because I was the only one who wasn't going to be the next Mel Gibson that worked there, I'm the only one that worked because everyone who worked there was an actor, and I was a college student. And so then they bumped me up to to being a bar back, and then I got moved up to being in charge of the celebrities in the Michael Todd room, which was the room upstairs where all the movie stars had things and stuff. Because I didn't give a shit about any of them, to be honest with you. Though I did meet Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx, and Tommy Lee was the coolest freaking guy of Motley Crue. Nikki Sixx was blown out of his mind on heroin. He was just he was rocking, and I'm like, am I have to catch this guy? And he's big. They're big dudes. They're both real tall, big dudes. He's like, fuck him, let him fall. That's what Tommy said. So, but that's where I was. It was a Sunday night. It was in the Michael Todd room. They had a party. I think it was a Sunday night. It might have been a Saturday night. And it was I met Mark Hamill, and it was his son's 5th birthday party at the Palladium. And the party started at 11:30 at night. And his kid's sleeping in the cubby hole of one of the chairs. So that's that. So anyway, I was at the Palladium 3-4 times a week doing,
nice.
working. So that's my story.
Jennifer, what is this Gladiator Peach that keeps coming in through the chat?
What? Who's talking? Who is it? Who's asking?
I came up a couple times. I'm trying.
Really?
Let me see if I can find it. I have a note here for it because I saw it come up like 3 times.
Really? Not a lot of people even know about that, so that's why I want to know who it is.
Is that really cool?
What's that?
Jen, is that really cool black and white? Remember that black and white Road Warrior one you had with all the sights?
That was my. I did a crossover between all my favorite costumes are it's a crossover between Mad Max and the Punisher. So that one was a fun one. I really enjoyed that one. My head was shaved, so I got to use my cool hair. Yeah, that one was a good one. I like that one. I still have the shoulder pads. They were pee-wee size because the regular size ones were too big for me.
Do you remember when I saw you at the show, like, hey, and I gave you a hug and you stabbed me in my face with them?
Your face should not have been near my spikes.
Yeah, I guess not. Lesson learned.
So I don't know if I'm saying this right, but is it Beta Ray Will?
Yeah, Beta Ray.
Beta Ray. So he's the one that he mentioned it.
You don't know Beta Ray?
Yeah, like Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah. Don't you know Beta Ray Bill, Nile?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so Gladiator Peach is a costume that I talked about not I think maybe only to my Patreon, like last year. When you were asking me about commissioning people, I actually commissioned my friend to make me a shoulder piece and a flail that's like the chomper. And it's one of those costumes, like I started actually working on it, but I would, like I always say, I want to learn something. So I decided, you know what, why don't I just learn leather working? Because, you know, that's just something that you can learn for one costume real easy. Well, then I made this whole big belt buckle out of leather and got all the leather supplies and learned how to stain leather and mold it and stamp it and all that stuff. And it just was like so time consuming. And then I was just like back and forth flipping on the design of what I really wanted it to look like overall. And then it was one of those things that got boxed and I never pulled it back out. But I actually have two friends. This is like a dream. Like my Gladiator Peach is like a dream costume of mine. And I lost like a lot of weight because I changed like my diet and exercise regimen earlier this year. And so I didn't have what I call like my gladiator body. I wasn't like real thick, and I want to have like my thick body, my gym body back for my Gladiator Peach. And so I'm finally there. So now I'm like, okay, I've got my gladiator body, and I have two friends that make props. And one of them makes shield labs, and I have like a design of like a gladiator peach shield that I want him to make for me, because I just know it's one of those things that if I have people help me make it, it'll actually get done. So that way I'm not having to like make it all at once. And my friend actually made an entire gladiator costume for himself, which I didn't know. So I literally have two experts on how to make this particular costume that I want to hire to build some pieces of mine. So that way, like, one will make the belt, one will make the shield, so that way I can focus on like the headpiece or the chest piece, and then, you know, do the photography and stuff after that. So it's a huge actual collab project that I've been planning in my mind for like months, that it's like this year in 2020 it's gonna happen. One of my dream costumes, my Gladiator Peach, I'm gonna finish it, and it's gonna have collab with my friends, and it's gonna be a big deal. I just gotta wait.
And you don't draw this out? You don't even sketch it out like a fashion sketch or anything?
Sometimes I do. My Gladiator Peach, I actually do have a sketch of that one. I finally did kind of decide like what I wanted that one to look. I watched the movie Gladiator, and I decided I liked the look of that style of Gladiator more than like the show. What was it? Spartacus?
Yeah.
That one was like a little too grungy for me. I like the pretty armor in Gladiator. So now that I had like a visual direction, it's easier for me to like design what I want it to look like overall. But yeah, I draw and like sketch out stuff. I just don't generally like my Vandal shoot. I actually drew out sketches, thumbnail sketches of different poses and stuff that I wanted to do. So that way it would hopefully go faster when I actually started doing the shoot. I just didn't show anybody them because I'm always like, my drawing is not very good.
Yeah, so you got to do that. You got to start sharing that.
Yeah.
I know your fans would love it. They would love it. Your Vandals would love that. We'd all love to see that stuff.
Yeah, you should post them on Instagram, like little snippets of some of your designs.
Yeah.
Unless it's top secret.
No, it's definitely not top secret. I think I have so many ideas. I have like a list of just ideas of mashups and costumes and things that I want to make, and it's just how long it takes you to make something versus how many ideas I have is just like this. So I draw out some of my ideas, but then I just never like actually have the time to make them. But I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna make this. So then I'll show the sketch when I have it made. But I just kind of never get to the making it part. And I just get to the sketch. So yeah, you're right. I should just stop being like insecure about how shitty my drawings are, because people I'm sure wouldn't care. It's just an interesting process.
Yeah, I mean, even me when I do my roughs, if I just post a rough up, I get a lot of likes and a lot of responses because people love seeing things like that.
Well, I think like social media is like different. Like I think my 366,000 followers on Instagram, literally like at this point, not a high percentage of them. The majority of them are there for like my boobs and butt, not really for like my cosplay or anything. So that would definitely be more of like the vandals would want to see more of like those previews, because I feel like those are the people that are really interested in the process, where Instagram is mostly for like butts and, well, not butts anymore. You get like, you get in trouble if you post a butt. So
that's
butts
funny.
are now
For
banned.
butts and boobs.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying everybody, but that's just like the majority. But not that there's anything wrong with that, because I follow lots of girls with giant boobs and butts on my Instagram, and I love it. I don't even look at my Instagram in public, because I'm always afraid of like what pictures are gonna come up, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be seen looking at like half naked chicks in public. They'll probably think I'm weird, so I just don't look at social media in public.
Save it for private.
Yeah. All right,
That's
Jen.
awesome.
So, Niall, do you want to have some fun with our guest here? And
We are having fun, bro.
we are totally having fun. No, we're having fun, but we have you on for over an hour and a half, Jennifer, and I know you got a lot of work to do, and we could talk to you for hours. We just don't know, we don't want to, keep you from work, because your day is just kind of beginning, right?
Yeah, I usually start working at like 4 or 5 or whatever. So yeah, I still got quite a few hours to go. But hey, I scheduled this podcast for today, so you are my priority, Billy.
Well, thank you, dear. We really appreciate it, and we're honored, right? I mean, we're really honored.
Yes, we are.
To have you on as our first, crowdfunding cosplay guest. And Niall, do you want to show
to have many more on
our call out? You want to do our crowdfunding call out?
Yeah, if you don't mind. So what we got here, guys, we've got someone I know reached out to me, and another cosplayer, Cara Nicole. She's the Arizona Power Girl, and she actually has her calendar. She's a sweet girl. Woman, I should say, not even a girl. I've gotten to know her through social media. I think she's going to be at Baltimore, because she messaged me about our panel, Billy. She wants to attend it, so I think she's going to be at Baltimore this year. But yeah, guys, so we're going to play the video and check this out. Just so you know, Jennifer, when I play videos, we can't hear it, but the viewers can.
Oh, okay.
All right. And they can hear us talking. So we should not talk.
So don't talk bad about the viewers.
Yeah, just don't talk bad about,
Unless it's Jimmy. That's fine.
Yeah, we can talk bad about Jimmy.
He left to get more ketchup.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is AzPowergirl, Cara Nicole, coming to you again for the next cosplay calendar. I'm bringing it to you early. That way you have plenty of time to prepare for the roaring 20s. That's right, 2020 is on us. You're gonna get your calendars, your variants, prints, cards. You're gonna get your birthday in the calendar, postcards, digital sets. I don't even know what else I'm gonna put in. You're not getting 12 months. You're not getting 9 months. You're not getting 1 month. You're getting 13 months of cosplay madness, mayhem, fun, all from the cosplay diva herself. That's me. For those of you who don't know me, Google me, look me up. I do everything from comedy to politics, cosplay, more cosplay, art. Find me on comic book covers. You can find me on my other calendars. You can find me on my own Cara Nicole AzPowergirl photo books, as well as regular books, Magic the Gathering cards. I got all kinds of stuff. I'm everywhere. I'm lurking behind your trash can right now. So jump on it while you can. Spend the next year with me, your AzPowergirl.
That's some energy right there.
Yeah.
She's throwing everything. The kitchen's sinking this.
I couldn't even hear it, but just her like expressions. It's like, yeah, she's really getting into it, and that is awesome. I'm so happy for her. I
know, it's crazy. So she has 6 days to go. It was a 30-day campaign. She was looking for a pledge goal of $1,000, and she is just shy. She's at $14,384. So I mean, she is almost approaching $15,000.
She's a badass too. She really is.
And she will take. So she's gonna take this. So she's doing Kickstarter, and then she's gonna take it to Indiegogo next.
Oh,
nice. Wow. Now, Jennifer, would you think, with, like I said, with your 12 little vignettes that you do every month of a different costume, have you ever considered making a calendar yourself? I think the Damsels would love that.
Yes, I've had a lot of people
the Vandals, sorry.
I've had a lot of people ask me in the past to do a calendar. There's so much work, especially me. I'm going to want like, okay, these got to be exclusive images, not just any image. So then I want to do like all new photo shoots or all new special, just only printed in this calendar, which then that's 12 shoots and editing and then the formatting and the graphics. Like you just look at all this work, like all the stuff that she put into this. I mean, calendars are not easy, so that's really awesome. I thought about it. I just need the time or to hire somebody to like do for. And she's got the boob mouse pads. Those are my favorite. I actually have one myself. It's not in here, but those are awesome. I've been really wanting to get some of those, but you have to like, I need to ask her where she got them because like previously when I've checked, you have to like order them in bulk from like, like a Chinese website, which a lot of them were not even in English when I tried to do it. So that's awesome. Those are so cool. And they're really comfortable, guys. Like putting your wrist on some boobs is pretty cool, but they actually really do like hold some support, some comfort, those like mouse pads. I love mine.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, Nile, I think we're going to have to try that product out online.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make some Nile Scala crowdfunding boob mouse pads with my face right there. Where did they go?
Oh, great.
Right here.
I think that'd be a hot seller.
Yeah, it would.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Shit. Anyway, so Nile, should we maybe take it out and ask our illustrious, amazing guest, who was just a delight and a joy, some of our fun questions that we have, Well,
I got a question for you, since we are in the season of Halloween. Okay, and this is kind of like what I do. This is another passion of mine, is the paranormal. I love ghosts. I love all that stuff. So I have to ask you, Jennifer, do you believe in ghosts? UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness, any of those things?
I mean, no, I don't know about the Loch Ness Monster, but yes, definitely. Ancient Aliens is one of my favorite shows ever.
Great show.
Yes, it's a great show. So... X-Files, also one of my favorite shows ever. Love that show. So definitely a big paranormal fan.
Any actual experiences?
Yeah.
No, but Deb was telling me the one about your house, so I need to come to Billy's house and experience his haunted house there.
I've seen him.
Yeah, Nile had. That's how we bonded. That's how we actually became we were friends, but we really. He goes, "Is your house haunted?"
Well, we were talking, and we were actually we were setting up this show. This was when we were like doing beta stuff, and we were just chatting, and I was testing cameras, and I was like, I'm gonna ask him. I'm like, dude, is your house haunted? He's like, why? I'm like, because when I went to use your bathroom, dude, I swore there was like this old dude standing in your living room, and God. I saw him, and I wasn't even drunk yet, and I was we had just got there from where were we there? At that other convention there at the museum. I forget what it was.
The Eternal Con.
Was it the Eternal? Yeah, Eternal Con. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, oh no, that's just Soloff.
Yeah, but he wasn't there. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. But yeah, no, my house is totally haunted. You gotta.
It's one of those things that I would love to experience, but I'll probably shit my pants, if it actually happened. I'll just have a mental breakdown and cry and just be like, oh my God, what? So.
Well, we're going to plan that ghost hunt with Howie Noel. He was just on our show, and he's friends with, if you watch the shows, like Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi and all those guys, he's friends with them. He's like the personal artist of like Jason Howes, and he does like all their stuff. And he goes on ghost hunts and stuff. So I've been talking to him, and we're going to get like a real ghost adventure going on, at some crazy haunted asylum or prison or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to go. If you want to see somebody genuinely freak out and think it's hilarious, I can't even go to haunted houses, like the Halloween haunted houses. I'm legitimately afraid of the dark. I'm an adult who is afraid of the dark. So going into those haunted house things, it's I just scream bloody murder. I play horror games on Twitch. That was a big thing. My fans really, really liked me to do that because I would just scream bloody murder anytime anything would pop out at me. And it's a genuine reaction. It's very scary. So in real life, I can't imagine actually going to an actual haunted asylum and something happening. I would just lose my mind.
Yeah. Well,
it would be great.
About Slender Man or things like that?
I did play Slender Man. Yeah.
You did play or you didn't?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And is it as freaky as? Like, did you play in the dark and everything like that?
Oh yeah, I always have all the lights turned off, of course. But I get like really frustrated at stuff when I can't beat things. So then eventually my frustration overcomes my fear, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like over this now. You can only be scared by the same thing. Oh my gosh, yes,
Silent Hill playing that in the dark was really just like,
yeah,
not for me. But it's funny. My wife, like, she'd always like, she can't take scary things. Like, she could watch, you know, a preview for like a haunted movie, haunting or something, and she'll like cry on the, you know, from the TV, right? But she loves to go like to haunted places, but I don't. I'm like, I don't like that shit. I don't like people popping out at me because, no, think about it, right? If you're a killer, where's the perfect place to do it? Wait for freaking Halloween and go work at a haunted hayride, and the dude that's running at you with a chainsaw, like, you don't know if the chain's on that thing. You know what I'm saying? You could be like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Next thing you know, he bump your legs right off. I'm telling you, you got to be careful.
Dude,
Real ghost is where it's at.
That's a great concept that someone wants to just commit
I just trademarked
murder.
It.
And he ends up joining the haunted house and just kills a bunch of people on Halloween night.
Yeah, I know. I just trademarked it. It's recorded now on this video.
Shit.
Well, it's perfect. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I actually have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Did you watch The Joker?
Not yet. Did you?
No? Okay. I did. I was just curious to hear what other people think.
What are your thoughts?
I can't tell you without it being spoilers. So, yeah. My review is completely contingent on something. So.
Did you like it?
Okay, so I'm one of those people that believes that there's movies and there's films. And I thought it was like a good movie, but I didn't care for it as a film unless something, but I can't tell you what it is.
Oh shit! We gotta go see the movie, Billy.
What?
Let's move.
I can't say it's a spoiler because I can't. Well,
the guests,
maybe,
the viewers might.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's other people.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Blevins, email, find the movie. Blevins can find the movie. Get it over to us. Use your magic, Blevins.
Does Blevins get movies and stuff?
Just, you can't get into detail. There's people listening, but he can get things.
I see. Yes.
He can get things.
He can get things.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I did. I actually did see that.
I love that movie.
You loved it?
I loved it. You didn't like it?
No, I liked it. I didn't like love it, but I liked it.
See, I think that's a film. I think that was one of the best movies I think I've ever seen in my life.
Well, really?
Yeah, I just loved the slow burn, and then I just loved the payoff. I loved when, I don't know if we can give spoilers here. Maybe we should have a movie show with spoilers one time and have you back on, Jen. Maybe that's what we could do.
Let's go see the Joker and do a Joker review.
Yeah, I want to see it twice. I'll go. Okay, you go see it once. I want to see it a second time because I want to know if my theory can be disproven now that I have it. I don't know.
Maybe we get Jimmy to come on too. Would you come on and do a review and we'll review Joker?
Yeah, I've thought about because my website I just have been working on it this month. So I thought about what am I even gonna do with it? And so I thought about movie reviews and stuff. I don't know that anybody cares actually what I think about movies. But yeah, I could do it here instead. I think that would be awesome.
That'd be cool. We're gonna have to go see it, Billy. We'll see it.
Yeah, you guys actually have to go see it.
That would be cool.
I'm very curious to see what you
I'll
think.
go see it Tuesday because it's playing by me still, and it seems to be a monster. So I think it's going to be here for a while.
It's going to be up for an Oscar, I hear.
Oh, really? Is that your insiders tell you that?
Yeah, I've got people that know things.
Yes.
And people that get
You heard
things.
it here first.
It's right here. Yeah, that's awesome. Right.
Well, what do you say now?
Awesome.
Should we let our amazing guest get to her work?
Yes, definitely.
We've had her on for almost 2 hours now, Jennifer.
Oh my gosh, I feel so popular.
That's great. I was just checking. I thought I saw a good question, but I can't find it. My apologies. To the person that had a good question, I can't find it. There's too many chats here.
Did Mandy? Oh, there is.
People are chatting. Well, that's good.
And Frank Amazing isn't here today to filter for me.
Thanks a lot, Frank.
Yeah,
Slacker. He's fired.
Yeah, we pay him so much.
I know, right? I pay him in fruit by the foot.
There you go.
If he does a good show, I give him the whole 36 inches of fruit by the foot.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right.
Interesting.
That's horrible.
You guys took it somewhere else. All right, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great.
Thanks for having me, guys.
As our very first crowdfunding cosplay edition, and we'll have many more. And if there's anyone you think would be great to come on the show, please, email us. Because I want to get more. We've got real life Peter Griffin coming on next week.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool dude. I've met him a couple times. And we'll have Cara Nicole on probably after that, or whenever she gets the Indiegogo going. But yeah, if you know anyone else, that's another thing I'm going to do in Baltimore is hit up cosplayers, see if they want to come on the show and talk.
Absolutely. And Jennifer, it's a real honor to have you on. It really is. I'm so proud of you of all your success. I really am.
Thanks, Billy. You've been there since like day one, pretty much. So. Yeah.
Well, you got something real special going on, kid. So just keep doing it.
Yeah,
I will.
Definitely.
Promise.
Definitely.
Never stop dreaming, guys.
There
Always
you go.
got something bigger and better to do.
Studio's done. Now you need to get that personal assistant.
Yes. Get ready for next year. This year is all about next year.
Oh, that was what? So you took a break from doing the conventions. When are you? When are you heading back out there?
So I haven't booked anything yet, because it's not really conventions, they open up their bookings at a certain time of the year. So, but I might be doing Wizard World New Orleans. Maybe don't count me on that, but I'm talking to my friend about going with me. The thing is, I just because of the stuff kind of that happened last year, I don't do conventions by myself anymore. Mm-hmm. So part of that is me being able to have someone there to go with me. And so I just got to make sure whatever conventions I book that I'll have a friend or something that's able to go with me that particular weekend. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my friends have normal jobs and everything like that. So I have to make sure they can get the weekend off, but it'll be good to have an assistant there to help, and it's safer and everything.
A security detail.
Yes. Yeah. And that was whenever I was in New York, and Invicta hired security for me, and I was just wow, that's just so amazing and so helpful, and just that opened my eyes to how things could be. So next year, probably I'm not going to be doing as because in the past, I think one year I was doing 12 conventions or something like that, which is a lot on top of everything else. So I won't be doing that many, but definitely getting back out there, doing more stuff, conventions. Definitely, I'll do my local ones, of course. I want to do C2E2 because it's one of my favorite conventions, and I'd love to do New York again next year. I've done Denver in the past, which would be nice to go back to.
Denver's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, I really like Denver a lot. Everybody was so awesome. That's the best part about going to these conventions, and it's just everybody is so nice. Everybody that I talk blah 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 to people that come to my table, and nobody is ever ew girl, shut up, nobody wants to talk to you. Everybody's always so nice and complimentary and good to have a conversation with you and stuff like that. So I just really miss it. It's been, I needed to take the year off just because of everything else that is going on, but I'm ready to okay, now next I'm ready to go back out there again.
There you go. Well, all right. Well, guys, everyone out there, thank you all for joining us.
Yes, thanks, guys, for coming. I appreciate you.
And Jennifer, you're wonderful. Again, so proud of you. Hang on. Nile will take us out. And you hang on, and we'll have a little, end of show chat. And we will see you soon for sure with our Joker review.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm excited.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. As you know, we will be at the Baltimore Comic-Con starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you stop by or go into the show, make sure to say hi to us. And, we'll have a little Isaac Con. Is that what we have? Is it Scotch Con is now Isaac Con?
Yeah,
Saturday night?
It was Isaac Con. So.
It was always called Isaac Con.
Yeah, Saturday evening, but I think we're going to have a mini Isaac Con on Friday evening, too.
Perfect.
Why not?
Let's just get tanked all weekend.
That's the
That's
plan.
it. That's it. So everyone, thanks so much. We'll see you next week. We'll post the guests we have going on next week, and we'll be posting live from Baltimore. And stay tuned to hopefully everything will work out, and we'll be posting our panel live as well. So everyone, have a great time. Jennifer, thank you so much. Billy, as always, it's been a pleasure, my friend. And we will see you all next week. Jennifer, hang on. I'm just going to do our end screen, and then we'll be in touch. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell, you may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram, Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.